welcome to the Home Team Friday preview show. Welcome to week 5 of the high school football season. I'm Randall Parmalee. Michael Gilbert is back in the saddle again this week.
And oh my gosh, last week was so good. And every Thursday during the season, we'll get you ready for each week's slate of games. And remember, this is online only, so you can find each new shows each week, Thursday here on TriStateHomepage.com.
How do we top week 4? Had some unbelievable games last week.
We need more nuggets. We need more views.
That's what we're going to check out with that here in just a little bit. All right, let's get started with headlines for week number 5. And what a game last Friday night at the Bowl. Memorial and Mater Dei played in an absolute classic. Defense was the story. The Tigers D just a little bit too much. They kept Mater Dei out of the end zone, and the Tigers had just enough offense to win it 10-3. Kind of a rock fight.
Yes,
Memorial
sir.
stays a perfect 4-0, while Mater Dei suffers their first loss of the season. The Wildcats are now 3-1.
The definition of a clash. But don't look now, but the Central Bears are starting to figure things out. Central blew past Rights last week, beating the Panthers 44-0. Quarterback Colin Sterner had 5 touchdowns in the win, and the defense tossed a shutout, keeping the Panthers off the board for the first time since September 2013.
I don't think anyone expected that score.
No
My goodness.
way.
And in Kentucky, Henderson County wins again. The Colonels are now 4-0 after a 28-13 win over a very good Hopkinsville team. That 4-0 start, the best one for Henderson County since 2005, and the Colonels are moving on up. They are 7th in this week's 6A poll. All right, we were kind of expecting a little bit more offense from that Memorial Mater Dei game, but my goodness, those two defenses, we've known that Memorial's is one of the best in the state. Mater Dei's defense came to play as well. That was an unbelievable game.
Oh, unbelievable, and just shows the promise of both teams. And I think I would have liked it to have a little bit more offense, but the grittiness by the Wildcats and the Tigers, I mean, that was a great way to have it pan out in the way, defense versus defense.
We were disappointed with Central those first couple of games.
Yeah.
We talked about how loaded we thought they would be, how that offense would be explosive. It's starting to show that explosiveness. My goodness, what they did to Rights last week.
Yeah, if Colin Turner gets time to throw the football, he's shown that he can exploit the other defense. And I think he's such a playmaker. If he stays in rhythm and they give those skilled players a chance to make plays, Randall, Central will keep lighting up the scoreboard.
And we wonder what Henderson County would be without Skip Patterson at quarterback.
Yeah.
Sam Elliott says, no problem. I'm going to lead these guys to one of the best starts in school history.
And Elliott must have a little bit of chip on his shoulder, because that was the main storyline, was what will they do without Skip Patterson? Granted, he was a superb player, but Elliott, he's made his reads.
Elliott.
He continue makes plays, and he has been doing everything for the Colonels so far.
Elliott has been excellent so far this season. All right, let's take a look at the schedule of games that you will see Friday night on Home Team Friday. We've got another big show, 13 games scheduled for this week, 10:35. Friday night on ABC 25. Let's start in the SIAC, the big one in conference. It is Castle at Central. By the way, you can watch that game live online. We'll be streaming it right here on our website, TriStateHomepage.com. Both those teams perfect in conference play. That should be a dandy. Elsewhere in the conference, North is at Mater Dei, Rights will be at Harrison, and Bosse is at Memorial.
Heritage Hills will be at North Posey, Boonville, Travelers of Lynn, Stockton. Jasper is at Vincennes, Lincoln. Princeton will be at Gibson Southern, and Southridge will be taking on South Spencer.
And in Kentucky, Owensboro travels to Davis County. That's city-county rivalry. Owensboro Catholic hosts Hopkins County Central, and Ballard Memorial will be at Madisonville North Hopkins, and we're going to have one Illinois game tomorrow. We're going to head to the Snake Pit, one of my favorite venues in all of the Tri-State, where Mount Carmel, the Golden Aces, are off to an outstanding start this season. They're 3-0. They will be at home hosting Richland County. All right, let's break down a couple of those matchups. We call it the Big Three, and we're going to start with the big one in the SIAC. Castle travels to Central, and the Bears may be starting to figure things out. Back-to-back impressive outings, 45-6 over Boston, then 42-0 over Rights. Now Central has now won 3. I should say they have won 3 in a row in this series against Castle. Last year's game was a shootout, 41-34. We could see that type of offensive explosion again this weekend.
Hopefully. Well, Randall, it does look like Castle is starting to figure things out as well, because the Knights are playing really good football right now. After a season opening loss at Bloomington South, the Knights have put together 3 straight wins: 43-6 over New Albany, 22-14 over Wrights, then 37-0 last week against the Bosse Bulldogs. The winner moves to 3-0 in conference and will stay atop the standings with Memorial, and that's assuming Memorial wins tomorrow night against Bosse.
Meanwhile, at the Bowl, North will be looking for a statement win tomorrow night. The Huskies have been the surprise of the SIAC so far this season, and their next win, get this, equals the total from all of last season. They only won 3 games last year. North is already 2-2 this year, and that offense has been very good. But keep in mind, North has not beaten Mater Dei since 2007.
Wow. Mater Dei is now coming off its first loss of the season. That classic, we have already talked about losing Memorial last Friday night at the Bowl, and we have raved about the Mater Dei offense all season, but that defense was just as spectacular last Friday night. And if the Wildcats have that type of defensive effort tomorrow night, it's going to be very difficult for North to put points on the board, Randall.
Yeah, that's let's jump to the Big 8 now, where Jasper is at Vincennes Lincoln, and this is a great rivalry game. These two teams, and let's be honest, a lot of folks in these two cities just don't like each other. Jasper really needs this one. They're 1-3 so far, but their 3 losses, other than that Memorial game, they've been unbelievably close. A combined 22 points. So that shows you that they are hanging tough. They just need to find a way to get over the hump.
Meanwhile, the Owlses have struggled as well this year. They've lost 3 in a row, and the problem has been ball security. In the last 2 games, they've thrown 9 interceptions, and Vincennes Lincoln has won the last 2 games in this rivalry, good to know, which I'm glad to report won't end with the Big 8 folding after this season. Both teams are heading to the SIAC next year.
All right, and as always, after we talk about the Big 3, we bring in our game expert, Mr. Chris Veach himself, for his special Nuggets of the week. And it's a special edition this time as Mr. Veach joins us from Key West to break down these 3 games. Here's this week's Nuggets of the week.
Hey, what do you say, guys? I am down here in Key West, Florida, the southernmost point in the continental U.S. It's really hot down here. My face has gotten a little bit burnt. You're not perfect. Don't judge me. But anyways, take a look at this beautiful view behind me. I am down at Mallory Square. Got the ocean in the background, bunch of homes on an island out there. I'm sure they're very expensive. Now, I might be on vacation this week, but I definitely got to hand out some Nuggets of the week. So it's week 5. Let's take a look. All right, first I'm going to start with the Big 8 Conference. Vincennes Lincoln hosting Jasper. Now, earlier this season, I did say that Vincennes Lincoln's mascot, it's a green blob, and it looked like Grimace from McDonald's after eating a bad McNuggets. Well, that's kind of been the story with Vincennes Lincoln's offense this season. The Owlses, get this, they are averaging just 16 points a game. Is that bad? It's not good. Well, they're taking on a Jasper team that's coming off a tough loss, but have definitely seen a resurgence, and they have definitely gotten the better of the Owlses in the past 20 games, ending up winning 12 of the last 20. And both these teams will be taking their talents to the SIAC next year, but they have been the cream of the crop in the Big 8 the past many years. Jasper has won 23 Big 8 titles, while Vincennes Lincoln is in second with 10. All right, let's hand out some Nuggets. Now, Jasper, tough loss last week, but you know what? I think you're definitely on the right track. And Wildcats, right now, I think you're my pick to win the Big 8. I'll give you a 6-piece. Vincennes Lincoln, you got to get that offense going, man. Owlses, you get a 4-piece for that. Now, let's switch to the SIAC. North at Mater Dei. This could be a very exciting game. Now, how about the Huskies? Their offense has been very explosive all season, but credit their defense last week. Get this, the Huskies against Harrison held the Warriors to minus 50 rushing yards. How does that happen? Now, North, they got a tall task this week. They are taking on a Mater Dei team that they haven't beaten since 2007. That's right, the same year that Justin Timberlake brought Sexy back. Knew I had to throw that one in there. Now, Mater Dei, they are coming off a tough loss last week, but their game against Memorial lived up to the hype. It was a real defensive battle. In fact, the Wildcats did not even reach the end zone. It's the first time they haven't had a touchdown since Class 2A semi-state in 2010. this should be a good one. I do think Mater Dei will get the victory. Cats, tough loss last week. I'll give you a 6-piece for that. North, you're doing great. Keep up the good work. Keep that defense working hard. I'll give you a 6-piece as well. Now, to our big game this week. Castle at Central, two very hot teams going into this one. And the winner of this one could challenge Memorial for the SIEC championship. Now, Central, man, what a Friday night they had last week. I know it was Friday the 13th. I know that there was a Harvest Moon out. But what happened at Central Stadium? The Bears holding Rice scoreless for the first time since 2013. Oh, you know who that team was that last blanked out the Panthers? The Castle Knights. And Central, they had a great game overall. 344 offensive yards. That's their best output all season long. Also, I talked about Central. You got to clean up those penalty yards. Well, they did. Last week, 40 penalty yards. Nice going, Bears. And you know what, Castle? They have also been on a hot streak. In their last 3 games, they have outscored their opponents 102-20. You know what? Both these teams, they're not just hot, they're spicy hot, man. I'm giving them both a 10-piece, and I'm making those some spicy nuggets. But you know what? I'm having a great time here. I will see you guys up there next week. Live from Key West, Chris Veach. Those are my nuggets for the week. I'm going to send it back to you guys.
Thanks much, Veach. And I got to admit, Mike, we give Veach a hard time, but the man is on vacation and he's dedicated and still sending us his nuggets of the week for this week. And I am not joking. I don't know if you guys heard it. I'm totally serious. I heard roosters crowing in the background.
Right.
So maybe Veach is running down some nuggets.
I think the nuggets taste better in Key West.
Yeah, everything tastes better in Key West. All right, let's take a look at our week number 5 power rankings. And this week was unbelievably tough, but I am keeping Madisonville North Hopkins number 1. The Maroons picked up a tough road win at Christian County last week. They are now 4-0. I'm going to move Memorial up to number 2 after that classic last week against Mater Dei. The Tigers are now 4-0, and that defense is obviously one of the best in the entire state of Indiana. At number 3 this week, I hated to do it, but Gibson Southern, I'm dropping them down to number 3. The Titans lost at Southport last week, but played very well against a very good 6A program. I think Gibson Southern proved that they can play with anybody in the state this year. Central jumps back into the top 5 this week. I have the Bears in at number 4 after they blew out Rice. Central really does look like they are starting to put the pieces back together now and making their debut in the top 5. Coming in at number 5, I have Owensboro. The Red Devils just smashed Apollo last week. Their only loss this season, get this, guys, was to Central in week number 2, and the Bears won that one by 2 points. The final score was 10-8, so I think Owensboro definitely deserves a spot in the top 5.
Well, Randall, we're going to have a little bit of differences in my power rankings. I'm going to have Memorial up to that number 1 spot after a gritty win against Mater Dei. I really think that team deserves it. Now, number 2, I do agree, Madisonville North Hopkins. The Maroons take number 2 with Hightower healthy. I mean, this team is just as tough to beat as we have seen. And then out of the blue, like a Royal Caribbean cruise, Tom Boston's team cruising their way to the number 3 spot, Henderson County.
Josh Boston's team.
Yeah, Josh Boston. Pardon me. Josh Boston's team. He's been playing great. They are undefeated on the season. And then I like the Patriots at 4, the most points Heritage Hills defense has given up is 14 points. And then despite the loss on the road, Gibson Southern, they still have to stick around. They're at the number 5 spot.
Yeah, all right, let's take a look for our staff picks for week number 5. I like Central over Castle. Give me Mater Dei over North, and I will take Jasper to pick up a much-needed road win on the road at Vincennes Lincoln.
This week has some great matchups. I do like Central over Castle, even though the Knights have been pretty good in this series. Mater Dei, they should take care of business against North. And this one, I'm going against the wave. I'm going Vincennes Lincoln. They're going to get a win against Jasper.
Jessica likes Central, Mater Dei, and Vincennes Lincoln, while Veach, he's going chalk with me, taking Central, Mater Dei, and Jasper. All right, on the season, yeah, nobody has been lighting it up. I went 1-2 last week, and that let the rest of the game close in and tie me up at we're all an even 6-6. Vegas doesn't have anything to worry about.
No, not with us.
with our records so far this season.
I think, this hopefully is my week that I make a significant jump. I want to get that first place spot.
Well, we're all tied right now at a very mediocre 6-6. Okay, don't forget Home Team Friday night, 10:35 on ABC 25. We have 13 big games. Jessica will be here, and we're just going to have a huge show again on Friday night, 10:35. That's all the time we have for this week. As always, thanks for watching the Home Team Friday preview show. Veach will be back in studio next week, and we're going to have another big show available only online right here at TriStateHomepage.com. Thanks for watching.